There are two things guaranteed in this life, one of which is going to your local Dollar General, seeing all the employees out there having a cigarette. Second thing has to be going on Twitter, realizing it's still a cesspool full of hate and just nonsense with bad takes. A great example of the second thing was definitely shown during the whole Moist critical Sneako debate that happened at least a week ago at this point, where, Twitter went off because Moist critical defended trans people's rights. I know, wacky doodle of him. If you don't really know the whole backstory, I'll summarize it for you. It's pretty big, so you probably do know it, but I will try my best to summarize it pretty quickly here. It all started when the whole Ava Tyson thing happened, and Moist Critical, or Charlie, said something on stream, made a quick little video, and posted it on his second channel. He explicitly said, I'll go over it more once more things drop, right? It was still kind of new, and things were still coming out at that time. And here's where Sneako kind of gets involved. Him and his infinite wisdom kind of decides to call out Charlie, saying, hey, why aren't you talking about this? Why are you talking about, Dr. Disrespect when it dropped, but not Chris Tyson? And accused Charlie of only doing it for the Mr. Beast collab, so he's not going to talk about it. I want you to keep in mind, he said all of this after Charlie had made the video saying, I will talk about it once things break out more, and the news is actually all the way out, and we know everything. Of course, all the Sneako fans and most of Twitter attacked Charlie for this, saying, oh, you're only going to, cover it on your second channel, when this is a big breaking news within the community of YouTube and all of social media. Obviously, they didn't do their research because Charlie said, hey, I will do more once we know more. So once Charlie made the big video, the big Ava Tyson, video and the kind of style that he makes, half of it was about Ava, right? Talking about how disgusting and cruel that person is. That person being Ava. The other half was split into rambling about Sneako, about his horrible takes, and about how Charlie legitimately thought, hey, maybe Sneako will defend Ava because Sneako has a habit of fighting the age of consent, trying to bend it to his will. And, you can watch Charlie's video on it. It's goes into more than what I'm going to say, because I'm just kind of summarizing it, right? But he was just rambling about the whole Sneako thing. Now, I'm going to start talking about the debate, which I do want to preference and say, Moist Critical, or Charlie, did not know it was a debate going in. He thought it was going to be Sneako talking and trying to defend what he meant when he talks about the age of consent. He didn't know it was going to be recorded or live streamed or anything. He thought it was a one-on-one chat and not, whole debate about what it went on about. Now, Charlie in the past has said he's not a good debater, and that was on full show right there. That was actually like watching Trump versus Biden, two people not really there, just kind of staring off into space. I digress, though. Though Charlie was horrible at debating, he did bring up some really good points and some really good topics to talk about, hence why I'm kind of making this, and why this whole video is pretty much saying the cancellation of Moist Critical, or Charlie, is probably the stupidest I've ever seen. We have real human beings out here trying to cancel him for sticking up for transgender people and their rights. Meanwhile, we have Sneako saying, hey, 21 and 16, that's alright, bro. That's all good with me. I can't take the internet seriously anymore. With how the internet was reacting, I genuinely thought Charlie was agreeing with Sneako, saying Cuties is a good movie, or defending his age of consent take. Like, I legitimately, based on how everyone was reacting, that's what I thought just happened. Not only did we see a side of Twitter that has been shown time and time again with homophobia, hate speech, and transphobia, we also saw how uneducated they are about the things that they hate. And this expands into Sneako. Sneako was saying, oh, so a 9-year-old can get his wiener chopped off. Moist Critical said, yeah, whatever. Assuming he is talking in hyperbole, because to go through that kind of surgery Sneako mentioned, you have to have a mature body. You have to be at least 18 and physically mature enough to go through that process. But because, Charlie was not expecting Sneako to say that in a real sense, and he thought, oh, he doesn't mean that for real. When he agreed to it, oh man, Twitter jumped on him saying, oh, Charlie wants 9-year-olds to cut off their wieners. And see, the bubbling buffoons on Twitter, right? They did not care about what Sneako was saying about the age of consent. No. They do not care what he was saying. The absolute monstrosity takes he was saying. Horrendous. Just downright diabolical takes about the age of consent. They did not care. Like the things this man was saying, I swear to God, I've heard verbatim on a Chris Hansen show. Like, it was absolutely wild. Another way I could kind of summarize this whole debate is with a clip that was going kind of viral on Twitter. The clip was when Sneako was kind of saying if all parties consented, a 16-year-old and a 21-year-old cannot get married. But that same 16-year-old can go get their dick chopped off with parental consent. No, he was saying, oh, that's not fair, that's weird, like, whatever. But to me, it was really interesting to see how out of the loop Sneako is, and a lot of his fan base, and a lot of the people who think like this. It's crazy to see how out of the loop they are about this subject that they hate so much. Like I mentioned previously, a 16-year-old legally and physically would not be able to do that for good reason. Their body is not mature enough to handle it, right? Now they can do HRT, which is completely different than gender reassignment surgery. And let's say hypothetically, right, a 16-year-old did want to do gender reassignment surgery, right? Their body is not mature enough, and okay, hypothetically it is, they would still need to wait a year and a half, upwards of 2 years on HRT to be able to go through that. So they would be a legal adult consenting with a full mature body. And don't get me started on the waiting period too, to get a surgeon to do, like, people like him make up scenarios to fit their agenda and push it. Something like that is never going to be realistic. Something like that will never happen. A 16-year-old will never go through that process. Now, it doesn't surprise me that Sneako doesn't know the science behind it. This man doesn't believe in natural and basic science. He doesn't believe in depression, chemical imbalances in the brain, and he defends QD and doctor disrespect. This is not coming as a surprise to me, and it shouldn't to anyone else who knows Sneako and knows the reputation he has. I know this kind of seems like I'm beating on someone with the freezer temperature IQ, but I'm not. I am trying to say that Charlie should not be getting canceled. And you know what? Sue me for saying that, right? Cancel me. I don't care. He shouldn't be canceled for having an opinion based on something so minute to other people's lives. He did nothing wrong. He hasn't been taken over by the woke mind virus that Twitter is so scared of. Chill out. Let the man do what he wants to do. If he wants to support the LGBTQ community, let him do it. It does not affect you. I promise. So yeah, have a good one, guys.